Many parents, including this one, struggling with limiting screen time for their kids, especially in an online world, really brought on during COVID. Great to have Natalie Syrmopolous, I get it,
yes.
For a bit of a refresh, I guess, when it comes to screen time. So great to have you in studio for this interesting chat. And I find it interesting because I do have kids. Anybody at home that has kids knows this is a struggle.
It is a struggle. And, you know, with springtime and summer, right, it's nice to get a little refresh on it and switch how long we keep on screens, because that can be a bit of an addictive thing.
Is there a limit? Is there a time? This is good, this isn't good, the amount of time that they're on screens?
You know, that's a great question. I think what's important to note is that, first of all, we're not just parents, we are substitute frontal lobes. And kids, their frontal lobe are not fully developed until about age 20, 25. So time management is not really their forte. So we have to come in and help with that impulse control, inhibition, planning, and critical thinking with screen time, because you can get lost in the abyss of screens.
Do we say, okay, so I know my kids like to, after they, let's say, finish their homework, they know they get some screen time. Should I say, okay, 20 minutes? But they don't even know what that 20 minutes is. They don't have that value of time.
They don't, because they're a little bit younger. So for sure, you want to have like a visual timer or something like that. That would help. But I love what you did, because one of the strategies that I share with parents is to do must-dos before can-dos. So it's not so much about limiting the screen time, which is a can-do. So can-do, screen time is definitely one of them. But a must-do you have to do before the can-do. So must-do could include homework. It could include outdoor play. It could include reading for 20 minutes. It could include whatever you want to co-create with your kids. And if your kids are younger, you might have more lead on that. But if your kids are older, hey, unload the dishwasher or walk the dog before you can get on the screens.
We're getting it. So what happens when they get into that teenage years where talking back to mom and dad is a little bit more prevalent?
Yeah, so that's a good point, because here's the thing. When we get off of screens, or I ask our kids to get off screens, we're going to get pushback. And when you're older, it sounds a lot like back talk or a tantrum, full out tantrum. So here's the thing I say to parents: the best thing to do in that time is to stay calm and neutral. It is very frustrating when kids are disrespectful and whatnot, but the best way through it is to stay calm and neutral, hold the firmness of, no, we're going to stop right now, and then allow them to have their little tantrum. And then when everyone gets back online and everyone's calm and connected, you could talk about it.
Leading by example. We all have one of these computers in our hands, and kids in their teens have these little computers in their hands. I'm guilty as anybody. I'm on it a lot too.
Yes.
I guess we could say for work or checking the sports stores, but I am still on it. So how do we work that of not telling our kids they got to be off our screens when we're still on our screens?
I know, and there's a couple of things you could do there. One, yes, we are the substitute frontal lobe, so our brain is a little bit more developed, obviously. So we want to protect our kids' mental well-being. They don't need to be on screen as long as we are, especially if your kids are younger. Now, if your kids are older, however, sometimes you might want to lead by example. Yeah. And here's the great thing, it's actually better for you as well. So sometimes I tell clients to do a mini detox, so a mini screen detox. Everyone hands in their phone or their iPad around 9 o'clock or 9:30, whatever you decide as a family, and everyone kind of does it as a team. And it's a nice way to separate yourself from the screen time. You all can do something fun together and make connections as a family.
Are all screens the same? TV screens, phones, iPads, some screens better than others?
Yeah, yes. So, I mean, you want to make sure that what your child is watching and taking in is good for them. I mean, there's some kids during the pandemic who created social networks online, and they do gaming, and they have Discord and other things that they communicate with their friends, and that could be an okay thing. But the important part is to actually know what's happening with your child. So if your child is in conversation or being bullied online, you want to make sure that that's not happening, and if that's the case, it's not good for their mental well-being. You want to pull back from that.
You want to be tracking what they're doing, but you don't always want to be over their shoulder.
You don't want to be over their shoulder all the time. So if you have younger kids, I would say stay away from YouTubes, because they are that channel you have very little control over, and it just goes after one video after another, after another, after another. Netflix is a little bit better because you can at least manage it a bit better, and you know what they're watching, and you can control a bit of what their intake is.
Okay. Fascinating chat. Lots more on this. Evolvingwithnatalie.com.
That's it.
At Evolving with Natalie for more information on this and other parenting parenting tips. Natalie Syrmopolous, great
Thank
chat.
you. Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Back to my phone.